Hey, it's not a nerd. Welcome to another Console.log vlog. Like and subscribe to this if you like hearing about developer tales from the wild side of coding, basically. Computer science, ruminations, and tales from the dark and light side, essentially. But anyway, what I'm going to talk about today is my time as a programmer in Russia, full stack dev, basically, essentially in Russia, working for. Well, most of the time when I was in Russia, I was working for two companies, right? So, and I was also teaching English, and I want to just tell everything about my time there, and I'll go on to the actual, more abstract thoughts about what's going on in the Russia and the internet now later. But for now, I'll just talk very, honestly about my experience of working two dev jobs as a full stack dev in Russia, which is it was a good time of my life actually in a lot of ways. Like it's the first time I'd had the stability of of a long-term relationship and everything. That was my first one from the so how old was I? 32 when I met my girlfriend at the time, Yulia, who was an English teacher. And she was good because she sort of got me to get out of my comfort zone and start teaching as well, which has been an experience of my life really in a lot of ways. Learning that I'm actually good at teaching and that I like it and I enjoy it. So basically, I had two jobs. I had Desleon, who I was working for a long time, and I don't have a lot of time for. The cybersecurity startup based in the UK, run by my very good friend Martin De Bruin, who's a sort of tech entrepreneur, I guess you'd call him. He's been in the industry for a long time. Started off as project manager. He's from South Africa originally, and he's actually been, in all honesty, we've had a lot of history. Like we've worked together on a lot of things going way back. He was pretty much the first person to give me my shot in London at doing proper big dev work, and he's even getting into development himself. So if you watch this, Martin, you're doing good, lad. So there's a little note of melancholy actually of that. So we also worked with our friend Chuck, who sadly passed. I think it was a year ago now. That was the day Sam Merritt was at teaching at the English camp. So yeah, me and Martin go way back. We and Chuck as well actually. Chuck was like sort of he was like the first senior dev I ever worked with, and we always called him the wizard. Me and Martin, and it was hard. It's hard when he passed because I never actually met him in real life. It's just his friend on Zoom, that sort of thing on the phone. And when I first started working, there's always that voice on the end of the phone that would just give you help and emails and be on the phone and just help you out. And he was the best sort of senior dev to work with because he would often have his own stuff to do, of course, but he would always share his knowledge and give me hints and joke as well. I mean, this is quite important. If you're a senior dev working with a junior dev, have the time to just share a few jokes. Like, that is honestly one of the key things about being a senior dev, is to have a laugh with your juniors. That's probably the most important quality, I think, of a senior developer, is the ability to laugh at yourself for a start, and then also, not at your juniors, but with your juniors. That's the important thing, right? And Chuck did that. Chuck was a great man, great programmer. I learned about Bootstrap from him. I learned about PHP, and he was probably banging his head against the brick wall sometimes with me, but he would be patient and he was tolerant, and that's a very important quality of a senior dev, I think. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble about that too much. So basically, with Desleon, we were working on a cybersecurity app, which essentially was a dashboard data visualization app, it's now essentially finished and resilient. It's been a long project. It's been a long haul for me, Martin. Rest in peace, Chuck. We've been working on that project for a long time, and it's gone through several different iterations. Which started off. We actually developed a COVID app a while ago using React, a resilient COVID app, which is basically to do with. It's basically to do COVID assessments. So we released that, but it never really took off, unfortunately, which is a shame. And then we worked on a huge, complicated React project, which was very ambitious. Unfortunately, which did sort of self-combust, and I think Chuck found it difficult at a certain point, and I found it difficult as well. It's a hard time, like for both of us, because we were really burning. And when I was in Moscow, like I think even my girlfriend was getting tired of me, like having to go work till like very, very late at night, and having to deal with AWS. Having to learn AWS in and out and get used to that. That was a very difficult thing. And Chuck, God bless him, did the best he could do and was really pushing. This guy was 17 years old and he was really pushing it, And he was a legend. He was really a legend. He was like a legend. So it's sad, But the silver lining of all this is that the app is now more or less ready. I was chatting to my friend and the entrepreneur Martin de Bruin today, and he said that it's pretty much there now. Like it is almost done, and they've got a few clients and that running on it, so that's good. I'll see if I can find a link. I'll post a link to Desleon anyway below, and you can check that out. And if your company would find that sort of thing, it's like auditing compliance for cybersecurity, basically. I don't really handle the sort of business side of it. That's more Martin, of course. But it was a great thing to be involved in. It was sometimes stressful. This is a complete honesty Console.log vlog. Sometimes me and Martin have got a very interesting energy between us. We are intellectually engaged with each other always, and we're very honest with each other always. We have our moments of like but we just immediately always restructure as well. And we've always had that relationship of like it's a typical PM and programmer relationship, but the fact is Martin is actually a very good PM, which is important. I'm a pretty good developer, right? And we vibe with each other well because we intuitively understand each other. I'd say not that this is a law of nature, but if you had to put it in like the Myers-Briggs personality test, I'm like INTP, and Martin is ENTJ. So he's commander. He commands from the front. He's the extrovert. He's the front face of the company. He has the stuff that to be able to be socially fluid and sort of like very charming. He's a very charming man in general, and he has a charm to him. He's a charming, personable person, and he doesn't exactly come from even an easier background, as he doesn't at all. Actually, I know this, and I massively, hugely respect him because of that. And he has been working very, very hard for many years on many different apps and startups, and yeah, I think now may be the time when this will take off for him, and that's good because he's a passionate entrepreneur. Really, he's entrepreneurial. He's always been that way, and yeah, so that was good. This is a positive vlog actually. So this is a good sort of like shout out to my tech bros sort of video, I think. Actually, not tech bros all, tech sisters as well. So I'll talk more. I'm going to talk a bit about. Also, when I was in Russia, I joined a group of programmers called Speak++, who are they're based in Moscow, and they are a group of programmers who gather to learn English, practice their English, and get better in English. So I met a lot of really good people there. We've been sharing knowledge, and hopefully we'll collaborate on some stuff soon. And we are just like a in my case I was trying to learn Russian because I was living in Russia a little bit anyway, but Well, actually, the first time I actually went with Yulia, my lass over in Russia, and um, we really enjoyed it. Like, I mean, I remember Yulia saying she really enjoyed it, and it was really really nice people and everything, and just chatting about it could be programming, but there's also about films or whatever else. I know I met Renat there, who's a very 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 good developer. He runs a company. I can't remember the name now, but they do like Flutter apps and stuff, and they're very like very their website is sick actually. If you get to check it out, it's like a really good like page, like one screen scroller sort of thing, which just says everything. It looks graphically amazing, design wise. Alexander runs that, and also in Russia, and it's just he is like he's a Java developer primarily, but I think he also has been messing around with React as well a bit at the minute. There's Igor, who's a very, 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 very capable programmer. Programming in Rust is always at the top, sort of the top end of his game. I've learned a lot of him. I vibe very well with Igor. Like we just vibe. We just like there's sort of programmers who just like pushing the edges and just sort of push it maybe a bit too hard sometimes. But with with like heavy metal and sort of sometimes we go into swearing, but it's not like for the sake of it. It's just like our way of speaking sometimes. There's Anna, who's DevOps. She works for Amazon now, and she does like DevOps, and she does all the AWS. So you can imagine the sort of things she has to deal with, the files she has to deal with and stuff in the in the sort of data centers and everything. And then there's like a few other people who like learn English and want to just improve their English. Who just generally just want to improve English as opposed to like the hardcore sort of programming tech element of it. But so I did that. I got involved in like community in Russia and programmer communities, which is a good thing to do. In general, that's a good thing to do for programmers because you can. Yeah, it's good to share peers and just make mates. I mean, programmers need mates, right? And then finally, we got to the final chapter of this. I worked for Sticky Pixels, who are probably one of my favourite jobs. Like the most fun job I've ever had has been Sticky Pixels. I was there for 2 years, front end engineer. Basically, senior front end dev for at least a year and 8 months. So that was a real learning curve, and I was so excited by that time. And I was working with Sasha, who's a back-end engineer, who works in he's a Russian back-end engineer, and I basically learned React from Sasha. Now we did change the system further on, and we just had to sort of rejig a lot of things and rewrite a lot of things. So I know that developers now are just going, yep, know this, know how this happens, like rewrite the whole thing again. But me and Sasha were like we were just doing engineering at the front end, not engineering the front end, but Sasha did do a lot of front end stuff. But he again, similar to Chuck, he would support me. He'd always support me and help me out. And the only reason I know how to use WebStorm, mate, is because of you. The reason I picked it up and even got WebStorm in the first place was because of Sash recommending to me using it. And WebStorm is a great IDE. This is not sponsored by WebStorm. I'm just saying that it's a fantastic IDE. I really would recommend it over Visual Studio Code myself. Visual Studio Code is a great tool. You can get all the plugins and everything, but it's a lot more time and effort to customize it, to be honest, to how you want it. I think there's advantages to both techniques, but WebStorm is just for ease of use. It's just a fantastic IDE. And if you don't know the distinction, Visual Coder is a code editor, and WebStorm is an IDE, so it's a fully integrated environment. So you can just do everything in the one environment, which really speeds up. With Visual Code, it's like it slows it down. Actually, to be honest, for some projects it's fine. Like, to be honest, if I was going to be doing just a basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript with not much complicated going on, and I just maybe have to push the GitHub or whatever, then yeah, it's fine. But WebStorm's superior, basically, I think, for JavaScript programming anyway. They've got all different flavors of it as well. But anyway, Yeah, so I've talked a bit too much technically there. Yarden is the CEO of Sticky Pixels, a great fellow, like some Israeli and creative and marketing background, and he's got a big vision as well. His vision is probably 30 years before its time, to be honest, because basically what we're trying to do with Occupy White Walls and Cultura was so democratization of art. That's in a nutshell. Cultura and Occupy White Walls is about the democratization of art itself on the internet, and creating this virtual world where you can make your own gallery. And I did a lot of that. I played the game myself. It's on Steam still. You can still purchase it, and it was just a fantastic thing to work on. Fantastic experience, and yeah, just overwhelmingly positive, to be honest. The experience I had there. Eugene, who's the CTO there, is a proper like Don as well. Like he's very analytical, but also creative. He allows the developers to have their creative expression, and had to really experiment with things. Like we had to do a lot of really weird stuff. Actually, there was one time where basically we had a nightmare project, which was pretty difficult. I'll be honest. Like even though we did get it working, but it's quite hard to really support. Was that we basically did a SoundCloud feature, so we had to essentially just integrate from SoundCloud. You were at a broken API actually that wasn't really working at the time. We had to somehow figure out a method of getting it so we could stream SoundCloud into the game. Now this was pure JavaScript hackery we had to do for this. Like I mean, I had to really like do some hacking around to get it to work. And the feature, I'm not sure the function where it's at now, but we did get it working for a while. But the nature of these things is they always change and update, and you have to then go to a year or two later you have to change it again. JavaScript is insane. It's insanity how much it changes so often. Really, I digress.
Photographer.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Zerngable. I'm a concept artist, 3D illustrator, and world builder.
This is Joshua of Alter Boy Photography.
My name is Rosa Francesca. I'm a digital artist from the UK.
Hi, my name is Benedict. I'm an art practitioner based in Taiwan and Singapore.
It's been very, very exciting because I was already a really big fan of the game.
I really love that rich territory where art and technology come together.
You never really get over that first time you see a comment that says, oh, this is perfect, or this is a great idea.
I haven't ever had my art up in a physical gallery. I've done live performances and installations, but I've never put my 3D work up on a wall.
It was a little scary at first to submit my work because the thing is like I'm giving up that control to the community.
So to see it in these virtual galleries has been really amazing.
I was really struck when I saw my pictures in the game. I was like, whoa, like this looks real. I don't know how to express that.
Occupy White Walls absolutely makes sure that you are getting out there as part of your own merit and being thrown into Daisy and getting to people that would otherwise maybe never see your art all across the world.
But the thing that I had to recognize is that there are so many creative people who have a lot of vision of their own, and so seeing the work on the walls, there were so many cool ideas that people had for how to display it that it warmed my heart. It was really cool.
A lot of people have reached out to me on Instagram following me saying, oh, I saw you on Occupy White Walls, I really like your stuff, so I followed you on here, and that's lovely. I get a lot of different interpretations of my work, like people being like, oh, I think this represents this or this, and it's just the stuff that I would never have thought of.
I thought that no one would see my creations, but I've got thousands of views and some comments and reviews on my pictures. It's really inspiring for me. I never thought I would achieve that kind of exposure.
I've bought pictures and prints and mugs and artwork from other artists. I've been involved in projects with artists all across the country, across the world, to make galleries that feature and augment the art that people have respectfully put into the game.
I've become a lot more confident about my art, and I've started getting it printed so I can see what I want to do about putting it out into the physical world.
And just seeing my own art on Occupy White Walls is really, really emotional to me personally, because I have created many paintings with my grandma, my dad, and I. It's kind of like 3 generations of paintings. To me, I think Occupy White Walls has provided that platform for me to digitally archive my family's memories and the ideas that I want to share with a lot of different people from all over the world.
Seeing it in the wild like that, it gives it a kind of a reality that it wouldn't have otherwise. And so it's been rewarding, and I recommend giving it a try.
It's an amazing opportunity, and I cannot stress enough that it got me involved in a community of people that really just strove for creativity. Gamers, non-gamers, art lovers, nerds, geeks, dweebs, all across the internet, that we all just got together and said, hey, it would be really cool if we made this gallery that could never exist in time and space, but it can here. And working together to build that is something really special. And being featured and having that gallery designed around your art is also really special.
So yeah, good job, Occupy White Walls.
This has been quite a long one, actually. I've just talking a lot about my time in Russia, Moscow. In terms of Moscow itself, it's a beautiful place, really. It's stunningly beautiful city. I've got quite an affection for like snow and brutalist architecture now because of my time in Moscow. It's a nice life as well, walking the Doge every day, sleeping in bed till 10 or 11 and just waking up and then coding from then. It was perfect, really. And I missed my time there, and I had a great time with my girlfriend of 4 years, who was a real pillar of strength actually to me, and it's been amazing, really, to be honest. So if you're watching this, you'll thank you for that. Thank you for being there. Thank you for tolerating me through all my bullshit as well. I know I could be up late doing just annoying computer stuff or whatever. I tried to actually help out with the Recolato sort of digital side of things, a bit like WordPress and that, and I did that actually and helped out quite a fair bit. But yeah, anyway, I'll take my hat off to all of you. I literally took my hat off. And have a good one. And I hope you all are well. And yeah, leave your comments below, and that's all. Okay, bye.